There was this guy I was dating and I thought we were getting serious. But what I didn't know was he had no intention of going anywhere else with me apart from the bedroom. The day I got to know that I was so angry, I vowed to destroy him and curse him for eternity. But I had planned something better, a sweet revenge on my boyfriend. His own brother was in the city I had shifted to. Because he had kept me on the side like a dirty secret, no one knew me. But I knew his family and I knew his brother. So, his brother became part of my plan. The brother, Jack was his name, he was married, but I was an angry, scorned woman. Nothing would come in my way, not conscience, not goodness, nothing. Everything had been burned in the firestorm he had caused. I had met him at a shopping mall and recognized him immediately. From that moment on, I was bumping into him almost every day. Maybe it was otherworldly powers or fate, but it was as if my payback on my boyfriend path had been served to me. Slowly we got to know each other and we became friends. Now it was time for part 2. I invited him over to dinner one night, and Jack too never revealed that he was in fact married. Dinner was an excuse, and the minute he came over, I began kicksing him. I was wearing my most revealing outfit and his eyes were glued to me. I began touching him romantically, pressing his eggs and leading him to the sofa. I pushed him down on the sofa and brought out his cucumber. His eyes became wide open, but he didn't stop me. His cucumber was already standing strong, and I pushed the knacking toy down on his cucumber. He moaned and just leaned back. I used that opportunity to dial my ex and put us on loudspeaker. I moved the toy up and down and Jack moaned and cried in pleasure. I glanced at the phone and noted that the call had connected. I was sure he was hearing his brother getting pleasured. "Ah, Jess, please let me knack your Toto," he said. I laughed, thinking this was an added bonus. I let go of the knacking toy and start blowing him. Oh, wow, he wept. And I knew all of this was being heard by my ex. I sucked the head of his cucumber and pressed his balls. I knacked him so hard just to get revenge on his brother that he screamed and then stopped me. But he was a stupid honey man after all. I pretended to apologize and he was more than ready to do things again. But my job was done and I didn't really care for his pleasure. I cut the call discreetly and asked him to leave my house. He was confused, but he left. Then I saw a gazillion missed calls and messages on my phone. "What are you doing? Is that my brother you are knacking? He is married, why him?" And when I read this, I cannot tell you how much joy I felt. But this was only round 1, and the finale was about to happen. And more on revenge on my boyfriend. Here is what I did. I texted Jack and told him that I wanted to knack him again. He was to come to my apartment at 4 the next evening. The same text was by mistake sent to my ex. Actually, I sent Jack another text to meet at a hotel. I had set up a camera and was going to stream our knacking session live to my TV. I knew my ex had a spare set of keys, so he would come to the city, let himself in, and the television would be on. Jack met me at the hotel, and the bed was in front of the camera. I asked him to pull his clothes, and he did. I had put my phone and his phones on silent so as to not disturb. I knew the television was streaming us live now, so I knelt in front of him and began rubbing his cucumber. We were strategically positioned, so the camera could get very good angles. He was enjoying it already, and I was being more than generous with him, considering it was revenge. I sucked his cucumber head and let my tongue move over the opening. I sucked the top part and let him relax on the bed. He began making noises and they were loud. Good, I thought, my ex will be able to see and hear everything. Then I stopped and pulled him up. My turn. I sat on the bed, pulled my dress up and spread my legs. He knelt down and started licking my Toto. He had a huge tongue and he used it best. His lips closed around my Toto and he was sucking it. With one hand he grabbed my clothed breast, pressing and massaging it. I tried to enjoy it and make all the right faces. I looked over at the phones and saw them flashing. Ha ha ha, he was calling Jack and me. Ah, ah, ah. I pretended to enjoy by moaning, and Jack thought it's him. So, He started to tongue me very well. I was sufficiently wet, so I stopped him and asked him to use a condom. I lied on the bed, on my stomach, and parted my legs. Jack penetrated my toto and began knacking. He couldn't see what I was doing, but I was actually checking my texts. They were all from my ex, questioning in disbelief, coursing me in anger and asking where we were. He also told me that Jack's wife was with him and could see everything. Good, I replied to that message. Jack was busy thrusting his cucumber in my toto and the camera was capturing it all. I didn't care about the knacking tape because there was going to be no permanent record. It was for the ex-boyfriend's eyes only and revenge on my boyfriend. Jack nacked and nacked me, his face contorting in pleasure. I started acting again. Yes, baby! Yes! Do that! I screamed. Jack was now rotting like an animal and the phones were ringing. I was sure his wife was also calling him, but only I could see that. Jack was in a lost cloud. Before Jack could come, I pulled the camera wires out, cutting the live stream. Then I pushed Jack off of me, pushed down my dress and walked off. Jack was asking me why, but I don't have to answer. At the same time, I called my apartment security and asked them to remove my boyfriend from my house. I have a flight tonight, leaving for an overseas assignment for 5 years. I won't be back for a while and now revenge on my boyfriend is complete.